there's a story once again with David Morgan where it says that in the midst of this season of outpouring and awakening, he went to bed one night and in the middle of the night had almost visions, like dreamlike visions, where
Wow.
he records that everything of a religious nature came back to his mind in the midst of this experience. And when he woke up, he had this uncanny ability, which is recorded by multiple people, of memory, so that if he was in a revival meeting and 100 people came forward to receive the gospel, it says that he, having just encountered these people one by one, he could then remember their names and their stories. But what's interesting is
It's a good gift
this.
for a pastor to have, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, it's the dream.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is within 2 years, it says he went to bed one night and that gift was withdrawn. And it literally, in one of the accounts, says he went to bed a lion and he woke up a lamb. Um,
Mm.
and it's not to say that, yeah, he lost any of his godliness or character or whatever, but this supernatural ability was given for a time, for a work. And then he himself, because he's the only one who could kind of subjectively report this, I guess, um, acknowledged that the Lord gives and the Lord takes away, and the Lord clearly doesn't need to use me in quite the same way anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that to me becomes one of the core strengths of this revival, is the quality of the leaders, um, which leads me to one weakness as well that I will mention, which, as often is the case with revival, it did have some excess. And if David Morgan represents to us someone who seemed to keep in the faithful lane, Humphrey Jones, sadly, ends up heading in a slightly different direction, because within months of things really growing and Lord using his ministry in an incredible way as the spark of this awakening, he he became slightly unhinged, let's say, theologically, to the extent that he predicted that Jesus would return and inaugurate the millennium, which reveals, some of his eschatology, um,
Yeah.
at a certain place in Aberystwyth on a certain night. And so such was his following by this point that obviously you can imagine the chapel was full when
Yeah.
that night came. This is our hero, Humphrey Jones. God has used him powerfully. Jesus is going to return and inaugurate the millennium in Aberystwyth. And of course, I think it was 11 o'clock in the evening or something like that. The time came and went, and um, Humphrey Jones ended up withdrawing from ministry for many months. It may have even been years. My memory fails me on that point, because he had become so kind of obsessively uh, drawn in to the extraordinary works of God.
Mm.
And it ended up being his downfall in many ways. Um,
Yeah.
that once again probably just reveals the grace of God on it not being too built on one character or another, because we've all seen, or many of us have seen probably, moves of God that are built too much on a leader or a personality. And when that person falls, the whole thing
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
hugely disrupted.